The culture of charity on a global scale and pressure of the world's socio-economic climate has forced lower levels of society to exist outside of our current world orders. The result? The homeless, unemployed and uneducated live by their own rules and understanding of society. And out of this naivety and desperation to survive, crime, abuse and lawlessness are born. On this week's show, we look into how an organization known as Compass is giving life and in the process changing lives. Join me, Refilwe Mwilwa, over the next half hour. Welcome to Bophelong.
Freedom Month is a reminder to us all that we are born free, entitled to lives of dignity and supported by our Human Rights Charter. Compass is an organization that prides itself on upholding these beliefs as its founding principles. Dr. Marcus Stolz, the son-in-law of the founder of Compass, the late Dr. Jude Martin, is now continuing this great legacy. He spoke to the Bophelong team this week to explain more about the Compass organization. My
father-in-law was Dr. Jude Martin. He started the organization 10 years ago with 100 Rand airtime on a phone and a beer crate as his chair. He did this because he grew up a life where he lost a son. His son drowned in a pool. He went through a life that was very tough. His children were taken away from him due to, he went through a bit of a bad patch in his life, like we all do as human beings, and his children were taken away from him. He lost his son. He ended up destitute, homeless on the streets, and he decided that he wanted to make a change and he didn't want anybody to go through the same thing that he went through. And this is where we are today. We are changing lives. There's a lot that we still need to do. This is just the foundation. We need to do a lot more, and I think corporate South Africa needs to stand with us to achieve great things, because we really have, there's no problems. We just need to start seeing solutions. We need to start seeing opportunities to create something great for South Africa. We have a massive opportunity in South Africa to show the rest of the world what South Africa can actually do with all of the things that have been going wrong. We can turn it around, and it starts with our youth. It starts with our young people in South Africa by standing up and making something happen out of nothing. This organization was started with 100 Rand and a beer crate, and look where we are today. So the achievements are endless.
Dr. Marcus took us through how Compass houses destitute women and children, sometimes entire families.
We have a major problem in South Africa. I'm sure you drive and you can see that nearly on every street corner there is a woman with a baby. And yes, there are scams out there where these women and children are actually working for people and they're just getting money in and donations in. But the reality is there's a lot of women and children out there that are suffering, and really, really suffering. But we have taken it a step further, where we have decided that we don't only want to help destitute women and children. We have a family house because we don't believe in breaking up families just for the sake of taking care of women and children. We need to keep families together, because if we keep families together, those children have an opportunity to grow up a better and more successful life.
Compass, an acronym for Community Provision and Social Services, does more than just house destitute women and children.
We house destitute women and children. We have one family house. We are in the process of opening a children's home. We have a Children in Distress Rapid Response Unit, which we've teamed up with Badger Security, which are Israeli Special Forces, and SWAT to try and improve security for children in South Africa. We have also, we've got a crisis unit that goes out, like for instance the floods in KZN that happen annually. We've just put this together now, where our team will go out and, assist in any way possible, whether it be food or just feeding the guys that are helping put the fires out, or, assisting in that sort of way, feeding the people that are actually affected by the floods, giving them blankets, clothes if they need clothes.
Outlining the current prevalent status of xenophobic occurrences, Compass mothers all Africans equally.
We do take care of quite a few people that aren't from South Africa. I do know there's 2 or 3 ladies from Zimbabwe and Malawi. that we do take care of, because the reality is they are also battling. We can't just push them aside because they're from another country. We have to understand that we're all human beings, and as human beings we need to stand together to make a difference.
Willing to help more homeless families, Compass, like most organizations, has a lengthy list of needs to consider before they can make this a reality.
Basically what happens is we get a lot of cases that come to us. Firstly, what happens is our social workers assess the cases just to make sure that, you know, we're not putting anybody in danger by taking in the wrong people or so forth or so forth. So once they've gone through assessment, we do provide a temporary housing solution for them if they are battling and they're struggling. But until the assessment goes through, we do need to stand strong on that, because we need to ensure the safety of our children, as we are a place of safety in our upliftment program for these kids.
With their team of fundraisers, Dr. Marcus stays optimistic that Compass will liberate more that are destitute.
Big up to the Compass team. At a time when KwaZulu-Natal is gripped by senseless, harrowing xenophobic attacks, if only there were more people of the mindset of the Compass team and its founder, the late Dr. Jude Martins. As cultural critic, philosopher and poet Susie Kasem once said, humanity is lost because people have abandoned using their conscience as their compass. We are all Africans, but even more than that, we're all of the human race, Mzansi. Stay with us, we're back after the ad break.
Inspire others to say no to drugs. Drugs can cause cancer and destroy your life.
You can lose everything. You can lose your friends. You will never be the same again. Drugs can kill you.
Alcohol can rob you of your future.
You can lose all your money.
They can make you infertile.
You will lose your self-respect.
Alcohol can hurt those around you.
Give yourself the best chance in life.
Drugs can destroy your health.
Drugs can make you lose your job.
Let's stand up against alcohol abuse.
Drugs can destroy every part of your life.
Look out for each other. Let's stand up against drugs.
This is Primetime News.
Scores have been evicted after their properties were sold without their knowledge.
We take an in-depth look at top stories of the day. Live crossings to our journalists on the scene. Studio analysis. And a special focus on regional stories. This is Primetime News, weekdays at 6:30 p.m. and weekends at 6 p.m. on the SABC News channel.
Zoom into Africa. This is Chad. The president is Idriss Déby. Chad got independent from France on 11 August in 1961. The population is more than 11 million people. One of the major languages spoken is Arabic. Monetary unit is CFA.
Welcome back to Bophelong with me, Refilwe. Now let's meet one of Compass's success stories. It's been a long and painful road for Hafiza Abdullah Akun, but she is a beaming and bright example today that all clouds do have silver linings.
Hafiza Abdullah Akun is a 29-year-old from Margate, a small town in the south coast of KwaZulu-Natal. She believes, as is true, that being challenged in life is inevitable. but being defeated is optional.
From a young age, I've always been prone to, I had always been prone to molestation from the age of 11, 12, 13. And that's what led me to be the black sheep, because when I finally gathered the strength to tell my dad, it was just taboo to talk about it in the family, all about keeping it under carpets. So from that, I never really healed as such. I never knew it was molestation, because I grew up in a family where most things, sexual things, are not spoken of. So when I got to know about it when I was in high school, it broke me, because I couldn't believe that this is what they were doing to me, and I never understood, meaning now I'm a victim of such a thing, and I hated being a victim. But I'd always put that smile up in school. I remember there was a teacher, Mrs. Visa de Paul, and I was in class with her son, Vishay, and she offered to adopt me because she could see that there's something wrong somewhere, and the way I would be, you know, around other kids. There was a reason. She could pinpoint the reasons, but when she did approach my parents, of course, they didn't allow it.
Having been sent to boarding school and growing up far away from her parents and 7 siblings, Hafiza had to grow up quickly and learn ways to shield herself from pain.
With me being KZN, doing my schooling, I didn't have any parents around me to support me, or to see what's happening, or to pick up any, you know, wrongful doings that are happening to me. So I just chose to shut down.
Although she was molested on numerous occasions, she couldn't confide in anyone, especially not her family.
And I couldn't air it because I didn't have anybody who was like a pillar to me. I had my brothers, yes, but I was scared that if I talk about it, this is family. My whole family will turn their backs on me, which is what eventually happened, you know. When I did speak about it, firstly my mom didn't like it because she felt like I'm tearing the family apart, due to the fact that this was her side of the family that was hurting me. So yeah, that was a scar for me, and that actually tempered and hurt our relationship, mother-daughter relationship.
Upon finishing up school, Hafiza got married and moved to Johannesburg with her husband. She thought she had found herself a family that would love and accept her with warmth, but rather the cycle of a bad relationship between mother and daughter repeated itself with her mother-in-law.
Upon arrival, it wasn't all honky-dory. The family I met up with, his side of the family, they didn't really like me. I never fit in. Like I was saying before, I don't ever fit in anywhere. I'm not black enough, or I'm not Indian enough, or I'm not, you know, I'm just not the right thing that a person is looking for, because I'm a mixture. So due to cultural beliefs and everything, there was a conflict there. It was hard.
Thinking it was just a phase of an overprotective mother to his son, the conflict rather exacerbated.
With the verbal abuse that I received, or that people were giving me when I got here to Joburg, it actually awoken a lot of demons in me, where I would just shut down. I wouldn't talk to nobody. I wouldn't want to see. I wouldn't want to go out. I wouldn't want to be around happy people because it would drain me. It crushed my self-esteem, it crushed my ego, it crushed everything. I never saw myself. I don't want to get up and beautify myself. I don't want to get up and be me. I wanted to just be away from everybody, out of the limelight, out of the talks, you know, trying to keep it quiet. But it was hard because, you know, when a person is determined to break you, they'll come at you with whatever.
Unfortunately, her husband passed away. Hafiza had to remain strong for her 2 children, even though the verbal abuse continued.
I didn't understand where the anger was coming from on her side. All the lies, all the stuff, you know, that was said to me, words like, I didn't know about that. I didn't know what that meant up until I met her. And whenever she did anything, she made sure that you don't forget. So it was like imprisonment. You owe this person. You understand? It tore me because here I am. I've never had a mother figure to really support me. I never had a strong woman behind me. I had to do it on my own. And here comes a woman whom I thought, you know, she's strong. I want this. I want her to install some wisdom in me, and only to find that it was all just oppression on her side. But I'm also grateful that she did that, because without that, I wouldn't have actually landed up homeless, walking the streets with my premature son and daughter, trying to find a place to stay on my own.
For more details on Compass, look them up online. Their address is www.compass.org.za. Don't touch your dials. Bophelong is back after this short break.
Scoop on what really happens at the SABC, straight from us. Read our cover story to experience the world through the eyes of Bonang Mateba. Get to know the fresh faces of our new primetime telenovela Uzalo, and join in the 50th birthday celebrations of Mungana Lonene FM and Palapala FM, all in the latest issue of Evoke magazine. Don't miss out. Get yours at sabcevoke.co.za or download the app and stand a chance of winning a double ticket to the 2015 Belgian Grand Prix.
Catch all these and more every day on Sports Live at 8:30 p.m. on the SABC News Channel.
Exams monitoring body Umalusi is withholding the results from 69 exam centers where group copying is suspected. 39 of them are in KwaZulu-Natal.
This is the first time that the rollout of CAPS has reached grade 12, and that's why the assessment is being rolled out now.
A slight recovery is expected this year with improving labor relations and gradually stronger exports. National Treasury expects the economy to grow at 2.5% this year. Electricity tariffs will rise by almost 13% this year and not the 8% initially announced. The energy regulator granted Eskom this increase to help the utility raise funds to plug a financial shortfall.
Catch all news locally and internationally. Tune into SABC, your #1 news channel. News at 8 from Monday to Sunday.
Welcome back to the last stretch of the show, and today it's all about Compass, an organization all about community provision and social services. Let's now find out how Hafiza finally overcame the worst.
Hafiza Abdullah Akun lost all 7 of her siblings and both her parents whilst married in Johannesburg. She had to face emotional and verbal abuse from her mother-in-law. She was thrown out after reporting an incident about her 1-year-old daughter which took place while she was in hospital. It seemed like a surreal nightmare as history was repeating itself. First her and now her daughter.
My daughter was sexually assaulted, and the family didn't want me to talk about it. they came up with excuses like it could have been tokoloshes sent to hurt the child. You know, people who try to put ideas in your head so that you will stop believing, and they'll kill the determination to finally open up a case. But when I finally did open up a case, that's where the problems really started.
At this point, Hafiza was highly disheartened with the police service and felt that she failed at fighting for her daughter.
I tried to stay strong up until I wanted to commit suicide, because I was looking at my situation. I've got nobody to go to, nobody to call, nobody to confide in. I don't even have a phone. I don't have any clothes. I'm getting handouts. I hate being on the receiving end. You know, you obviously feel small. You just feel inferior. And obviously when people say do this, you'll go and do it because now you're under their authorities. You understand? So that's when I kind of lost it. Highly suicidal. Had a rope ready. I had poison. I remember hearing Mr. Lebo Kukuluza saying on radio that it takes even the tiniest faith to turn a situation around. I stopped.
Homeless with 2 children, she still believed that defeat was optional. With her robust spirit, she found a shelter for her 2 children.
What actually helped me, I was at the care center in Amken because I stayed there for 4 months, volunteering at a hospice while the kids went for counseling, and at the creation. You know, there were people who were actually working with the kids, and that put me at ease. Put some burden off of my shoulders for a while so that I can also try and gather me up.
Seeing an advert on a newspaper about Compass looking for telesales persons without any experience, Hafiza took a chance, only to find herself a safe haven. Upon arrival at the Compass offices, she was welcomed by the late Dr. Jude Martin, who founded the place.
He just briefed me about what Compass does. Like, here, people are here to learn, to overcome circumstances. Also, some people are here for a reason and a season. You don't know where the road leads yet, but you're here to find purpose. So that's exactly what I was looking for at that time when I was at the hospice, a purpose. And I found it here. So I did stay at the crèche, which was illegal. Of course, I had to keep my kids quiet. But because Compass wanted to help me so badly, they went through it with me. I was given my first meal. Actually, a lady here by the name of Maria bought me my first meal of pap and chicken stew. I will never forget it. My kids at that time, they're so small, but they ate like it was nobody's business. And for my son, being a premature, I couldn't give him that, but I gave him because I didn't have a choice. And for the first time, I set my alarm clock, blessed to be here, even though I'm on the floor, not a bed, sleeping on a curtain, covering myself with an old blanket with my kids, but I was blessed because I was there. I had a roof over my head, and I had people who cared.
Now a senior consultant at Compass, Hafiza has managed to get an apartment for herself and her 2 children, and she is now optimistic about the future.
I met other women. At least there I had people to talk to, because at the crèche, you know, trying to keep it quiet, I can't be talking to myself, you know. And I found healing in others. Hence the reason why I'm more for empowering women, because for me to go through all that suppression, all that oppression, and being looked down upon, being put down, being told you're useless, being called, it's because of women who do not have that self-esteem about themselves, that lack something. There's something missing in them for them to portray it in such a way. That's how I made peace with it. So hence I am for empowerment, pulling up women in every direction.
2 months before this, Hafiza was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and yet again, she channeled her fighter spirit and faced cancer head-on with zeal.
With the cancer and the chemo, I've had a lot of support, especially from my boss, Dominic Stolz. She's one of those people that will always ask me, "You're smiling, you're fine, but how are you really feeling? What are your fears?" kind of thing, you know. I'm always trying to be strong for everybody. But what are you going through? You can share with me, call me anytime, kind of thing. I feel this, all that I'm going through, I was destined to go through it. If not me, then who? I go through it with faith, also wisdom, of course, because yeah, I have to go for my chemos and take my pills on a daily basis. But also having purpose drives me to get up in the morning. And that's why I always tell myself I am a conqueror. I am a victor over cancer, over poverty, over being without. You understand? Those are the things that I keep telling myself. Even if I'm running around in the office with a smile on my face, I'm busy telling myself in my head, I am a conqueror. This is behind me. I'm forth. You understand? It's quite a road to travel. Yes. Yes, I'm drained. Yes, I'm tired. But I'm still here because I believe in a vision. The vision is to help people out there. A vision to have facilities available to kids, because kids do not have a say. They don't have a voice to voice themselves. So that is why we exist. And that is why I'm here as well.
As Hafiza's many trials and tribulations teach us, freedom comes not from judging the next person's circumstances, but in reaching out and sharing your experiences to help with theirs.
What a courageous lady Hafiza is. We wish you all the best to you and your family. Stay in touch with us. Our email address, of course, is bophelong@sabc.co.za. So join me, Refiwa Mwilwa, next week, where we'll shine the spotlight on more inspirational South Africans who make the decision every single day to not let the challenges they face to find who they are. And, you know, keeping in mind this quote that Abraham Lincoln once said, "Those who deny freedom to others deserve it, not for themselves." Goodbye.